Sometimes it just hits you, doesn't it? That feeling when the weather seems, well, just a bit off.
Hmm.
Winters feel milder, summers way hotter.
Yeah, you definitely notice it.
And it's not just us feeling it. The data shows it. The last 8 years, they were actually the hottest ever recorded.
Wow, 8 years. That's significant.
It really is a big shift, and it touches everything, pretty much.
Right.
So for this deep dive, we thought we'd tackle something really critical: global warming.
Absolutely essential topic.
Our jumping off point is this great piece from the Basic English podcast. It's called Let's Talk About Global Warming, Why It Matters to You.
Yeah, with Anna and Jake. They're good at breaking things down.
Exactly. They make complex stuff, really clear. So our mission here is to kind of build on that clarity.
Okay.
Pull out the key insights, make them super easy to grasp for you, no matter how much you already know about it.
Sounds like a plan. And what works so well with their approach is they just start with the basics. Like, what is this thing we're talking about?
Right. And they use this really neat way to picture it. Okay, imagine the Earth wearing a jacket.
Okay.
Not just any jacket, like a really thick winter one, made of gases like carbon dioxide.
Mm-hmm. The greenhouse gases.
Yeah. And its job is to keep some heat in, which we need, obviously. But here's the twist. That jacket, it's getting way too thick.
Precisely. It's the concentration of those gases. That's the key thing.
Yeah.
Like, you keep adding layers to that jacket, right?
Oh.
Eventually, it's just trapping way too much heat.
Yeah, it gets too insulated.
And the result, like they said, is the Earth gets, hotter than it should be. It's overheating.
Like it's sweating almost.
Exactly. And what's kind of amazing, or maybe scary, is that even small increases in these gases can trap a lot more heat than you'd think.
Right. So this extra layering, where's it coming from? Anna and Jake point squarely at burning fossil fuels.
Yeah, the big three: coal, oil, and gas.
When you stop and think, so much of modern life runs on them. Driving cars, powering our homes, the electricity, often from coal or gas plants.
And making stuff. Big factories churning things out.
That's the connection they make so well. Our everyday stuff linked to this massive global thing.
Yeah, it's not abstract. It's your commute. It's flipping a light switch. When you picture billions of people doing that, day in, day out, you can see how the atmosphere changes.
So all this extra trapped heat, what happens then? Well, the consequences start stacking up.
Right.
Melting ice, north and south poles. That's a huge one we see pictures of.
And it's more than just, sad pictures of polar bears losing their habitat, although that's part of it.
True.
That ice actually reflects sunlight back into space, helps keep things cool.
Ah, right. So when it melts...
Less reflection. More heat absorbed by the darker ocean water, which means even more warming. It's a feedback loop.
And connecting that melted ice to the bigger picture.
It goes straight into the oceans, rising sea levels.
Yeah.
And that's not some slow, far-off thing. It ramps up the risk of floods, especially in coastal towns and cities, dramatically.
Anna and Jake even mention, the possibility of whole towns ending up underwater.
It's a stark reality for millions of people already, a very real threat.
It is. And it's not just about ice and coasts, is it? We're seeing weirder weather everywhere.
Definitely. More extreme events.
Like heat waves that are hotter and last longer.
And stronger hurricanes, because they get their energy from warmer ocean water.
And then droughts in some places, too much rain in others, shifting patterns.
Which hits something really fundamental: growing food.
Yeah, farming.
Exactly. Those changes in temperature and rainfall, they mess up the cycles farmers rely on.
Makes it harder to grow crops.
Which affects how much food is available, what it costs. It shows how global warming hits our basic needs. Really answers that "why should I care?" question directly.
Totally. Now, just to make sure everyone's following along, Anna and Jake define a few key terms, which is helpful.
Good idea. Like greenhouse gases.
Right. They explain those are the gases trapping the heat. Carbon dioxide, CO2, is the main one we talk about. It's the stuff making that Earth jacket thicker.
Yeah, and understanding how they trap heat is useful. Sunlight comes in, warms the Earth. The Earth radiates heat back out, but these gases absorb some of that outgoing heat and send it back down.
Keeping things warmer.
Exactly. More gas means more heat trapped. Simple as that.
They also define climate, not just weather today, but the usual weather pattern over a long time.
Right, like their example of Egypt, usually hot and dry. That's its climate.
So it helps us see the difference between, say, one cold day and the long-term warming trend of the whole planet's climate.
That's a super important distinction. You can have a cold snap somewhere, sure, But the global average temperature, decade after decade, is going up. Climate change is about those long shifts and more extremes.
And the last term, flood. Pretty simple, water covering land that's usually dry.
Directly linked to the rising seas and the heavier rainfall we were just talking about. A tangible impact.
Yeah. By defining these, they kind of make sure we're all speaking the same language, you know?
Removes confusion. Lets us focus on the problem, and importantly, what we can do.
Okay, so we get what it is, why it's a huge problem. What about solutions? What can we actually do? Anna and Jay could give some practical ideas.
Yeah, things individuals can do.
Like choosing to ride a bike for a short trip instead of jumping in the car.
Simple, effective, reduces emissions.
Or just remembering to turn off lights when you leave a room. Seems small, but it adds up.
Absolutely. What's great about these is they're accessible, right? It shows it's not just about governments or big companies. Our daily choices matter too. Every little bit of energy saved, every emission avoided, it contributes.
They also mention reusable stuff. Shopping bags, water bottles, cutting down on plastic waste.
Which often involves fossil fuels in its production and transport, so there's a link there too.
And they even bring up eating less meat, pointing out the connection between, like, raising livestock and pollution.
That's a big one, actually. Livestock farming, especially cattle, produces a lot of methane, which is a really potent greenhouse gas.
Right.
Plus, land clearing for grazing, it all adds up. So, shifting diets, even slightly, across millions of people, that can make a real difference.
And the core message they push is that, yeah, maybe one person turning off a light seems tiny. But if loads of people do it, millions of people, that creates a real impact.
That's the power of collective action. It shifts the focus from just individual burden to, like, the potential for widespread change.
Yeah.
Fosters hope, maybe?
Yeah.
Agency.
Yeah, exactly. So, right now, just for a second, I want you listening to think, what's one thing, one small thing from what we've talked about that you could actually do?
Yeah, take a moment.
Maybe it is turning off that light or walking to the shop instead of driving. Just pick one thing. Maybe even say it out loud, just to yourself.
Have a little pause for reflection.
Okay,
You
sure.
could. Turns listening into thinking about your own life. What's manageable? What step could you take?
And we need that kind of thinking because let's not forget the agency. Like we said at the start, those last 8 years, hottest on record.
It's not a future problem. It's happening now.
That stat just hammers home the pace of it all, doesn't it?
It really does. Underscores why we need action on all levels, individual and collective.
But, you know, it's not all despair. Anna and Jake make a point of saying more people are waking up to this.
Yeah, awareness is growing.
People are learning, they care, they're starting to act. And hey, just by tuning into this deep dive, you're doing that.
That's true.
You're part of that growing group seeking to understand these huge issues. And understanding, that's always the first step towards making a change.
Absolutely vital. Education, awareness, they fuel the bigger shifts in society. The more people get the science, the causes, the impacts, the more likely they are to back solutions.
So quick recap of Anna and Jake's core message. 3 main bits.
Okay.
1, what global warming is, put simply. Earth's thick jacket.
Got it.
2, why it's a massive problem. Melting ice, rising seas, weird weather, food, all connected.
Right. The consequences.
And 3, what we can actually do. Small actions adding up.
Makes sense. Simple, clear, powerful.
Yeah. Provides a good foundation, doesn't it?
Definitely. Keeps the main takeaways front and center. Easy to remember.
And they finish up by encouraging listeners to, talk about it. Practice speaking about global warming together, they say.
That's so important. Keeping the conversation alive.
Spreading the understanding.
Exactly. Talking with friends, family. It raises awareness, corrects maybe bad info, gives that sense of shared responsibility.
Which kind of brings us to the end of our deep dive today.
Already. Went fast.
It did. Next time, though, we're diving into another really big challenge, food waste.
Ah, another crucial one. And often linked to climate, too.
Absolutely. And we might even explore why you shouldn't bite off more than you can chew. So listen out for that.
Looking forward to it. It's fascinating how these global issues like climate and food waste are so tangled up, isn't it?
Yeah. Understanding one definitely sheds light on the other. Complex stuff. So until our next deep dive, let's remember those words from Anna and Jake. Stay smart, stay kind, and keep learning.
Good advice. And maybe something to reflect on as you go. Now that you understand the basics of global warming a bit better, how does that empower you, not just for the planet, but for your own choices, your community's well-being? How does that knowledge change things for you?